Well, hello and good evening, folks. To the stream where we try to take your favorite tem and your favorite strategy and try to make it gameplay viable. We're quick, we're slick, we're 1Trick. I am your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as the Mechanicritic, and with me is a very chill, very cool Nagais 1Trick himself.
And Keeks, I can't believe we're actually changing up the style of our introduction in episode 2.
Well, the music is chill this time, so we gotta keep
That's
the
true.
vibe. You know,
We're just vibing here in the VC of the Wiplump Lovers Discord. Plug.
plug. If you guys want to hang out and want to be part of the show, well, join the Wiplump Lovers server, and you can join us every Friday at 1 p.m. GMT. Regardless, this is a show where we take suggestions from the listeners, our live audience over at the Wiplump Lovers server, and we try to figure out a tem or a strategy that they want us to build, and, well, we build it. Usually we build the core and just put other tems in for, for the team. But we don't fully build the TVs for the auxiliary tems, only the main ones. Geeks, I think it's time that we take in some suggestions. But before we get into it, and while we're waiting, Geeks, how are you? How was your week?
Week's been fine, you know. It has been the regular. Still stuck in the house because of the quarantine, but that's how it be in 2020.
That's how it, unless you're in Australia or New Zealand or Thailand or Hong Kong, etc., etc., etc. List all of these other places, honestly. Regardless, we will all be okay, because we're all waiting on some wonderful tems to meet. Now, Keeks, it's only customary that when somebody asks you how you're doing, you ask them back.
Alright, Marco, how have you been doing this week?
Honestly, this week's been really great. Life is strange, but life is good. I have the entire week off next week, so it'll be pretty chill. Pretty chill. I mean, that's what happens when you have a bunch of vacation leaves left over.
And never use them.
Yeah, and they get expired at the end of the year, you know? You have to use them or you lose them, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that you got the rest of the year off at this point, correct?
Basically, I might have to work like one day in the last week of December, but whatever, right? It's gonna be
right.
okay.
Let's get our suggestions rolling, everyone.
Right,
people. What do you guys want to see?
People, please just type whoever you want. I'm only seeing a few suggestions, and by a few I mean one. And if no other suggestions are made, I believe this one pick will be the 1Trick.
Well, to be fair, the one suggestion that we had a lot of options.
Yeah, that's fair. But other people can vote as well. It's all gonna be Gucci gang, as they say.
So Tortellini is
Tortellini? Tortellini is such an interesting term, but maybe, we can see.
Gary, not the young Gary, the regular Gary.
Yeah, if you were gonna tell me to make a team around young Gary, we would be doing workman strats. So.
Larry is also a pretty good option.
Larry, so for the people who don't know the memes, Gary is Gario, and Larry is what we call Rolder in the Wiplump Lovers server. Okay, I'm banning Zizare from this, because Zizare looks like a weird stick. Weird worm stick. He's banned.
Fortunate that Zizare will never be featured on this show because of its design.
It's just terrible. Gary is also the name of the snail in SpongeBob, aka Babawa. Fair.
Babawa is also a good option. Pretty good. Loali, I think, is actually quite a good tem.
That's like
people just don't.
That's like the fourth highest base stat total in the game, or something.
Yeah, it's pretty high up there. It's a pretty good tem. It's just, I guess it's not as common as the other salad stall components.
Yeah, it also kind of does a little in between of the niches, right? It's kind of like trying to be a tanky nature, but it's also trying to be a wind tem, and it's like weird. So I'm seeing some Nesla, Koren, Mastion, Mudrid, Volcrane, Taifu, Gary, Tortellini, Larry, Arcanox, Loali. It seems that there's no one prevailing one, Keeks. So I guess you pick, Keeks. Just pick one.
Oh man, do we have to pick? Let's see if our audience has any preference out of the ones here, because we haven't seen any repeats so far. It's been a lot of different suggestions.
Yeah.
Although if I were to pick personally here, I think Loali is a pretty good tem to build around. Even Acronox.
Okay.
Although Acronox I feel is a little straightforward.
Nerds saying Nesla or Karin, Kaurin, Loali.
Let's call it Karen at this point, I think.
Karen? I'd like to speak to the manager. Arcanox. So we have a double vote on Nesla / Karin and Arcanox. No. I deny. I think we're taking a bit too long to pick, Keeks. We just gotta pick.
Alright, it's time that we just randomize it. And by randomize,
We mean pick
I
Loali.
mean, like... Alright, it looks like you've picked. We're doing Loali.
I mean, yeah. Everybody in the chat said Loali, so we're picking Loali. Let's look at Loali in the official Temtem wiki.
Look at its base stat total, because it's quite big.
It's 485.
485.
I think that's some of the highest base stat totals in the game. Let's
I
check.
think, you know what, you can just compare it to Gaialis. That's what you do.
Okay, let's just search for Gaialis. Gaialis has less stats than Loali does.
Yes, this is a quote-unquote Route 1 Temtem.
Yeah, yeah, it has like 30 points above. It has 485, and if you look at Yowler, for example, 497. I think Yowler is like the highest.
Yeah, Yowler is the highest Temtem, I think. Followed closely by Loali and Tataru, who was featured in our first episode.
Yeah. From the species list? I mean, sure. I mean, like, I could, but I don't want to go too far off this page. We're talking about Loali.
Let's look at these Loali stats. What is it good at?
Well, it has a decent amount of stamina and speed. And it has...
Yeah, that stamina is a lot. I think at level 58, can you check how much stamina that is?
We can just go to Tem Team.
Yeah, that's 78. That's a lot of stamina. Like, you could invest 3 more points of stamina and you reach a breakpoint that very few Tems reach, which is 81.
Do you really need to be shooting 81, though?
Well, it depends on the moveset that you're running on Loali, but that will be decided later on in the episode.
So you have really high special defense, and you have really high... Not really high, but decent special attack. So you could... So you definitely have some, pivot opportunities. Your health stat is bad, though, so that's not ideal. And your defense stat is also terrible.
So it looks like if we're going to be running Loali slow, quote-unquote, because its base speed is already pretty decent, we're gonna have to run almost full HP here.
Only if we run slow. Only if we run slow. What are its 2 abilities? We have Botanist and Toxic Farewell. Toxic Farewell means you poison the thing that kills you. And Botanist is increase the damage of the user's nature techniques. So it's basically Air Specialist, but for nature techniques.
Yeah, I do think that between these two, Botanist is the correct quote-unquote trait. It is way more useful than Toxic Farewell is.
So if we're doing that, that means we're probably running some sort of damage set, right?
Yeah. One that will likely involve Loali's signature move, which it only has, which is Resin Trap.
Yeah, so Resin Trap is a move it learns at level 55. It basically is a 110 damage, 1 hold move, nature move, that deals a ton of damage, but also traps the Tem you hit.
Yeah, it's quite strong. It's just, it feels like it's a bit overshadowed by Wolfie and the fact that it has handcuffs.
It's overshadowed by Wolfie, mostly because this freaking thing has one hold.
Yeah.
Plague is not beholden to these things.
Plague literally goes off almost every turn unless Wolfie wants to Dust Vortex instead.
Or, literally do any of the other moves it can do. It's so good. Anyway. It does get access to Blizzard as well.
I do think that aside from Blizzard, what you're actually looking at here is its egg technique, which is Hypoxia.
It also learns Hypoxia. It also learns Spores, very important. Good. No, it's a joke. That's a joke. Okay. So I have Hypoxia.
Yeah, I think if you were to consider a second nature type move on it, it would be Allergic Spread instead.
All right, let's look at Allergic Spread. So this is an AoE.
Allergic Spread is AoE. It doesn't really deal that much damage, but if you're running Botanist with special attack, I do think that it's worth giving it a shot.
So the real problem is actually the fact that this Temtem has no 0 hold nature moves, huh?
Yeah, so turn 1, you're either running Hypoxia or Urushiol, maybe Tenderness, Shy Shield. It has a bunch of different options, which really will depend on the set that we're running.
Nimble also is really good.
Why run Nimble when you can run Turbo Choreography?
Because it's one hold.
Oh, that's still Turbo is such a good move.
Yes, but also it's one hold.
I don't think you would Nimble turn 1 though. I feel like it's kind of a waste.
Toxic Spores.
Some people do run Toxic Spores if they're not running a whole bunch of Toxics in their team.
Shy Shield.
Shy Shield is basically Loali trying to be Cernief.
Oh, it learns Tenderness too.
Tenderness is a pretty good option. We all know that Tenderness is the secret tech to beating Cernief.
So I'm seeing a lot of
turns.
I'm seeing some problems with this Tem. We have no decent turn 1, except Hypoxia, of course. But that literally taxes our stamina so much.
To be fair, Loali, I feel, can handle the stamina tax, especially if we're going for the high stamina build, which makes us hit 81. Since we have Resin Trap and Hypoxia in our moveset, we might consider actually hitting the 81 breakpoint.
Yeah, that might be a lot, and we could probably do that. So,
especially if you're going to also run like Turbo Choreography. These are a lot of
so are we just making this into essentially a sweeper, or at least a wall breaker?
Yeah, I do feel like it would be cool for a Loali to have some wall breaking potential.
So what would it do? Well, here's the thing. Nature as a type sucks in terms of attacking. It's kind of like a problem. See, it's like it's only effective against 2 things. And it's ineffective against, oh, what's this? Fire, nature, and toxic, some of the most common types in the metagame. It's also weak to, well, Loali itself is only weak to fire and toxic. So it's really good at resisting earths. So,
yeah, the metagame also has a decent number of earth Tems. Not too many, but enough that these resistances actually matter in the metagame.
Yeah, it also resists wind and water, so that's decent. You could probably swap in for a
special defense. I do think it's worth taking Loali to tank in a few hits from some Feather Gatlings, some enemy Hypoxias, Hyperkinetic Strikes.
Yeah, so the big thing about this Loali that's really interesting is that, like Geek said, it has a high amount of special defense, which means that it can switch into something without a lot of investment. That's important.
So do we want to run our Loali fast and hard-hitting, or do you want to build it tanky and hard-hitting?
Probably fast and hard-hitting, right?
With 176 HP, that's not a lot at all.
I mean,
I do think
yes.
we're
We're not
switching
going.
to
We're not going full speed. What are we, Scunch? Um,
All right, I do think it's worth investing a few points of speed to reach either 132 total speed. Maybe that's a good base point right now.
well, let's get to the 81 stamina first, right?
All right, that's I think worth
Okay.
considering. This
And
is
I
47
assume
stamina points to reach.
I assume we need
different
to.
break time.
I assume we need to just pump everything into special attack because that's what we wanted to do.
All right, let's see how much damage it actually does. Let's say it has a hand fan, or let's compare it to say Grandpa turn 1 with their hypoxia fight.
Okay. We do the damage calculator. Thank you, Temp Team.
I think you can just put Grandpa right below Loali and then check which one has a higher special attack.
Grandpa and Loali. Oops. Loalo.
Okay, so Grandpa's special attack is higher by 2 points.
Yeah. But your special defense is insanely higher.
Yeah, Grandpa has the HP advantage, so it's more well-rounded than Loali is, but Loali, I think, is very specific into what it wants to be fighting against.
Yeah.
The answer to that is not fire types.
Yeah, you do not switch this in on a fire type. You will get bodied. Yeah, you will just get one shot. Let's see how much damage like an uninvested Kets can do. From Fire Quash.
Why would you uninvest it? Every fire quest runs 500 attack.
Uninvested, it deals
Yikes.
almost 90%, 87%. And of course, if you do 500, it will kill you.
Yeah, and then you add the Ket Synergy and Synergy Master. It's 100% going to be a kill.
Yeah. How much speed do we need to outspeed Quet's Synergy? That's actually a really important question to ask. Let's check. Let's do 200.
Ket Synergies.
It's
It
not
really
enough.
depends on the Koish speeds, because if the Koish is not running any speed, it's you try to hit 156, which is also the breakpoint to beating full speed Wolfie and all of the other things that try to creep on that area. But also, if the Koish even invests like a few points in speed,
Yeah, it'll
then
outspeed you
they're-
for sure.
Yeah.
I think we need to reach this 156 breakpoint though.
How fast is that? That is very fast, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
how much do you have to invest to reach 156?
332.
That's a lot of investment.
Yeah. Add
And
HP
given
and
that you're also
Loali.
you're dropping 47 in stamina.
Yeah, so we're not gonna get much left for HP.
Yeah. What if we just run it slower?
I
What
guess
if we run it at 132 speed instead?
What are we breakpointing on 132?
131 is so that your 3 prio moves always outspeed 2 prio moves from any tem. And you're basically running 132 to creep on that, because a lot of things try to reach 131. To anyone who is not familiar with the idea of speed creeping, it's the concept of putting 1 point higher than what the metagame usually tries to run. So even though Loali itself does not have a 3 prio move, the reason why you're trying to reach 132 is so that in a 2 prio battle, say Wolfie's trying to use a Dust Vortex on the same turn, you will outspeed it by literally 1 point.
Here's the real question. What are 2 prio moves? Geeks, I'm doubting. I'm starting to doubt.
Doubting what?
So is Loali's entire point just to bait an Earth Tem? Like,
I feel like Loali's feels like the more aggressive version of Saku, in my opinion. Saku usually tries to go in and make itself at home in the battlefield. It stays in for a while. It keeps doing wind bursts. It never runs out of stamina. Loali, on the other hand, I think needs to be able to dent things because it doesn't have nearly as much staying power that Saku has.
Who
Because if you actually look at the kits of Saku and Loali, they're quite similar.
are we targeting in this metagame, dude?
I guess we're trying to target water types. The thing
So
with
Okama.
the thing with natures is that it, like you said, they don't really hit anything super effectively. So you could hit something like a Turok, because Turok has been quite prevalent in this new metagame where Quetzaleno is also everywhere.
Okay, well, let's check how much damage our Resin Trap can deal. 61, not bad, uninvested. I mean, that's a 0
Yeah,
HP
and then-
Turok, though.
0 HP and then 0 special attack. Or you can, well, you have to run Botanist as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
you
a
deal.
hefty chunk of
It
damage.
basically kills the guy, right?
And you're still running a little less than 500 special attack here.
Yeah. I'm assuming. Okay, but that means we have to run less HP, right? Anyway, let's
Yeah,
just
I-
run max first. The difference isn't that big, actually.
Yeah, it is like 100 TVs worth of difference.
Okay. I
For
mean,
gear, I'm assuming hand fan. Hand fan should be pretty good.
hand
Like,
fan.
maybe, like if you want to try to survive a little bit longer, maybe Ice Cube.
No, I don't think so. What? No. Because Ice Cube means that you're expecting that you eat a fire move. And at that point in time, you've failed. You've already failed.
Yeah, maybe Tokma Mask.
Tokma? You already resist? That's
Well,
fair.
you're weak to
Yeah,
Toxic,
yeah.
but with Hypoxia, you can also hurt Toxics a lot.
Maybe?
Yeah, Tokma Mask would give you at least a very good fighting chance against the Toxic matchups. Especially with 500 special attack Hypoxia.
Okay, let's just check how much damage your average T-Ink will deal.
That's
Who's a
run
TX
by-
who's a TX runner?
Calibus or Nidrasil would be the most common offenders.
Sure. They just do Toxic Ink.
Yeah, Toxic Ink, and then they have like 500 HP.
500 HP and do they run attack?
It really depends on the Calibus set.
Okay, well, let's just check how much damage difference does it make. None? What?
50.57. I think you're looking at Loali. Remove the Tokma Mask.
So it's like 13%
Yeah,
difference.
that's a pretty hefty chunk, yeah. That saves you a decent amount of HP. And then if you Hypoxia, how much
I
damage
mean,
do
we
you deal
don't.
back
So
to this
that was
time?
without even any HP investment. So let's check some HP investment. So if we have 500 HP investment, it deals 44%. And if we do Takma Mask, so it's like 9% difference in the damage you take. But also
That
not.
does make the difference between a 2-shot and a 1-shot. I mean, a 2-shot and a 3-shot.
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Unless the Calibus is running like a lot of attack PVs, like mine does.
Okay, well, let's check how much damage our Hypoxia deals back.
Well, that's a big chunk, but no special defense on this Calibus and no coat either.
Yeah.
So that's 74. Like, I feel even with coat and a decent amount of special defense, say like 200,
40
almost
something?
a 2-shot. Well, maybe we just drop the Tokma Mask and then run Hand Fan instead.
So that we can two-shot them?
Yeah. I mean, even at base speed, Loali outspeeds most of the toxic users in the metagame.
And this one definitely kills Nidrasil.
Run the 500 HP.
Yeah, chill. This doesn't run code. It gets energy drink.
Usually.
What? Yeah, this still 2-shots this thing, and you outspeed it every time. So. And
Do we want to invest speed actually in our Loali, given that it looks like our matchups are actually looking at these toxic thems rather than other things?
I mean, who are the Earth thems that we can target?
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're going up against Earths, they're likely using Stone Ball, right? And Stone Ball is 1 prio as it is.
Well, not just that. I mean, like, for example, Monkey. Monkey's an Earth.
How much speed does Monkey usually invest?
You're right. Not that much, though, right? Because it needs to invest a lot into attack and HP to not die after it heats up.
So I would say maybe the 132 breakpoint at level 58 is indeed a good option here.
It still basically almost kills him.
Yeah, that looks pretty rough for Monkey.
Yeah, Monka S. Let's see.
Let's try to look at a neutral matchup. Let's say Skunch. There are a lot of Skunches in the metagame. Let's see how Loali fares up against this one.
Probably terribly.
Yeah, so let's see. Let's see how much an Oshi does to Loali. And then in comparison, since Skunch is almost full speed, full attack, how much damage Loali can deal back if it survives. It will survive. It'll just get hard smacked though.
It'll deal 65, so you will die. You will lose. You'll lose the matchup.
Yeah. You deal a significant chunk back to the Skunch, but
you don't kill him. So you can't fight that matchup.
Unless maybe if you Hypoxia. I mean, well, if you Hypoxia, you deal a little bit more damage, but you still lose because you're slower.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't need to check the Mashuk matchup. This is probably a win already.
Unless the Mashuk runs your spread of like 400 special defense.
That's fair. Well, we'll see. Let's just shoot the Hypoxia at it. I mean, there you go. Let's see. 500 here. With coat. Okay, without coat, he'll die. But I assume most Mashuks do this. Nope, it's a 3-shot.
Yeah, unless it actually just runs 500 HP, 500 special defense, and coat, it's always a 2-shot. Like, this is the worst case scenario, that it lives on like 3 HP.
I mean, it's not gonna do anything to Loali, right? So, like, it's fine.
I mean, it could P-Jab uppercut. I mean, Loali's defense is just pretty bad in general.
I mean, yeah, so a P-Jab uppercut from a 0 freaking... Yeah, 13%, and then uppercut against a minus defense, 32. It barely even 3-shots you, dude. So unless it has support. Can we survive an Undermine? That's a real... I really want to ask that. I know this is folly, but if we can survive an Undermine...
And it's looking like it.
We can't survive Undermine. Yeah, and then we'll deal no damage back to it. Rough beans.
Yeah, Undermine is such a broken move. So most Momos, I think, run at least the 157 as well. They're faster than Loali naturally, so it'll be rough trying to get to that speed break point.
Fire Koish. We deal a decent amount of damage to Fire Koish. I mean, we won't go faster than it, so... That's rough.
So what you're likely looking into is that Fire Koish switches in against Loali because it wants to, I guess, gets it for the next turn, and then you already get a free hit on it. Can you kill it in 2 turns? Is the actual question.
No. Because you get punched and you die.
Will you die to 1 punch?
I'm pretty sure you will, yeah. Oh, you don't? Wait, it doesn't have Sinma. And it doesn't have Fire
If it
Chip.
has it, yeah, if it has Sinma, then you're absolutely screwed.
Yeah. No Gucci Gang
So
there.
so you can survive it if it doesn't have the neutral type synergy.
Which, honestly, what is your opponent doing if they don't?
Well, maybe you've banned it, or you've killed it already.
I guess. Sounds like a lot of steps, mate. When attack, disable the target's gear.
What if we run Strange Vest?
All of the matchups that we want to deal with are physical, right?
Looks like it.
Right. What are we weak against? These are all physical types.
Yeah.
This is also a physical type.
And the things that you resist are usually the special attacking ones. So even if you're losing on special attack from... I mean, you're losing on special defense in the water and wind category, I think it should be fine, right?
That means we can't get one... We cannot get one shot by a Kets now.
Oh.
But our Hypoxia won't deal any more damage to the Toxic Dems. Or rather, won't deal as much.
Yeah.
Sorry, wrong move.
I do think that the Strange Vest here does come in quite clutch. In a metagame full of Quetzalenios and I guess toxic Thems that just do toxic ink, it's pretty useful.
Here's a real big boy question, and I wonder, what if we just invest into special defense instead?
So we're not running special attack?
No. Instead of HP. Let me check. Let me just check a calculation here real quick.
Wait, why run special defense?
We're strange vesting. By running special defense, you're technically running defense, right?
So you're running even more defense, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Rather than HP.
Yeah, I want to just check something. I just want to check something. Whether the math or not works out. We're taking 44. So what if we just get rid of all of this and then put all of it into special defense? We're taking 47.
That's worse.
So that's worse. So it's literally... Oh my god. Temtem, why?
HP is the superior stat.
HP is just the superior stat. Unless Temteam is broken. No, it's not. It's doing it correctly.
Strange vesting.
Yeah. HP is just... Temtem, why? Why do you do this? Nobody literally invests into the defensive stats unless it's literally just you've already invested 500 into health.
Yep. The only things that invest in more in defenses rather than HP are Gulder and Turok, because they already have so much HP to begin with.
Yeah, it's very rare that it outperforms it. Yeah, I think it outperforms it if you start doing madness buffs, I guess, but...
I think even then, the math checks out that you just want more HP.
We deal 61% against Fast Koish, though, so that's cool. Cool beans, I like that.
Yeah, so even if this Koish invests a decent amount into HP, you can still two-shot it, as long as you don't die.
Yeah. Here's my legit question, though. Why are we doing this stamina breakpoint, then?
Given that you're smorking and dying?
Yeah, aren't you just gonna die with this Loali? That's what it seems like it's doing.
Yeah, it looks like if we're not going to have any staying power, which looks like it's going to be the case, then maybe we don't need to reach the stamina breakpoint.
It doesn't seem like it. Like, it seems like your job is to just find a matchup where you're good at, come in, trap them, and then if they stay in and get trapped, you kill them. And if you don't stay in and they do get trapped, you swap into a positive matchup on your team, right? You essentially work like a weird pivot. Like an aggressive pivot, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Geeks?
Yeah, it seems like it makes sense. I don't think we're going to need the stamina given the number of hits that we're planning to deal, which is probably just 3.
Yeah, and then we'll swap out immediately after, so it's not worth those points. We might as well just do 500, 500 anyway, you know?
I think the speed might come in clutch later in, just because of the number of matchups that are in Loali's current speed tier. Actually, maybe not even.
Not even, you just tank it and then you just retaliate, right? Like,
Because if you look at Loali in the speed charts of like the all of the Temtem, let's see how it fares and where it is.
sure.
There, if you check the
Yeah, chill.
Temtem.
Loali is in the 80 speed tier. Oh, Naga. So Naga doesn't matter. Mushuk and Shu. So Mushuk is an important one. Platypus is decently important. We kind of want to outspeed that one, right?
Yeah, I think dealing the Hypoxia to Platymus would be quite good.
I mean, let's actually check whether it is actually good.
I mean, it's a toxic type. It should be. Like if you're blind resin trapping and they put Platymus in.
Yeah,
then
never.
they're
Yeah,
alive.
okay. Yeah, it gets bodied. Yeah, it's just basically gets bodied. Yeah, so it got trapped, and then it'll Okay, that's interesting. So basically, here's the strat, right? You shoot resin trap, it hits something. No, sorry. The real strat is you cannot open with Loali, which is a problem. But I mean, you can't open with Gaealis. That's fine. Well, you can open with Gaealis, but the point is, you swap Loali into a positive matchup. You tank something. You resin hit the slot that's weak against you. Then if they stay, they get screwed. If they don't stay, they get trapped. If they get trapped, you swap. So you're basically just Wolfie with different stabs.
Yeah, it seems like it.
It just seems like we're playing worse Wolfie, dude.
Is that the actual niche that we need to be in, though? What do we want our Loali to be in? I think Loali, as it is now, it looks more like an aggressive Saku.
No. Here's my point. An aggressive Saku is just Wolfie. It's just Wolfie. This is just Wolfie, but worse, right?
Yeah, Wolfie is fast, which is what makes it so good. Plagueis 3 Prio, it traps and it exhausts.
Yeah, I mean, but
why Wolfie is
I just
quite
described our
good.
play pattern with this, right? Which is you come in, you resin trap something, it traps them, and if it's a good matchup, you stay. If it's a bad matchup, you switch because you've essentially created tempo or something, right? But isn't that exactly what Wolfie does? Except it also exhausts and doesn't need to invest into any speed and actually deals damage and doesn't have to hold one on its trap move?
Yeah, looks like Loali here only beats out Wolfie in terms of the specific typing that it has, and I guess the amount of base stats that it has in total.
I think you say that, but really, what does Loali lose? Loali has wind, sure, manure, but like Wolfie gets earth, which makes it good into crystals and fires.
That is fair.
So like literally, it's hitting even more of the metagame than Loali is, because you know, fires and crystals are freaking everywhere. Toxic Thems, nowhere. Counter Earths, like, I guess they exist to counter the fires and the crystals, but they're not the metagame. They're the anti-metagame, right? So is it just... Are we just running bad Wolfie? Is that what we want to do?
What do you want to do with it, then? Because
I'm checking.
Yeah, I'm looking at its moveset, and if you want to try to do a supportive set on it, then you're just running bad Saku.
Then you're just running bad Saku, right? Can Saku learn Urushio? It can, right?
Yes, it can. And Saku has Tornado Wind Burst, which is a more diverse set of wind moves. I guess you can Turbo Choreo, and Saku can't do that.
You can
Saku
Turbo
has life
Choreo,
percent.
and Saku can't do that.
Yeah. I guess you can Lifeful Sap. You can Lifeful Sap on Saku, which is its actual staying power. It gives it so much effective HP, unless you're getting 2-shot.
Yeah, but we can Turbo. Do we just make a Turbo team?
But But why run Loali in a turbo team when there are other options?
When you can just run the
turbos?
birds that turbo themselves, right?
Yeah, and you can literally run Kinu and Ukama, which have better matchups, and they also have turbo.
Oh.
So why is it that we're running Loali specifically if we're running a turbo comp?
Because
What does Loali
you need
provide
something
us?
to beat the Earths?
Why do you need something to beat the Earths if you're running a turbo comp?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I mean, Earth deals half damage to all of the wind types that you're running, and wind deals.
I'm just trying to look for a niche here. I mean, obviously, what
Yeah.
I just said is not that niche. So it seems like allergic spread is actually the niche that we have, right? It's the thing that we can do that Wolfie can't.
Allergic spread?
Yeah, because Wolfie doesn't have a spread move, right? Or does it? It does, doesn't it?
It has Sandstorm.
It even has a better spread move. Chat, I'm crying. Chat, I'm crying.
It looks like what we have to run is probably like a mixed set where it has like Urushiol and Resin Trap plus Hypoxia. So you're making a sort of jack of all trades here, where it does well into a lot of matchups.
Well, not a lot. It does well into, like, some.
And with the coverage of Hypoxia plus Hypoxia, Resin Trap, and Urushiol, that's a lot of the metagame getting covered by at least one of those.
Well, Urushiel doesn't deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, so you're gonna.
I mean, and also Urushiel locks us into getting 2 Toxic Tems onto our team.
Yeah, which I feel like shouldn't be so bad.
No. But if you do... I guess Loali can resist for them, but Loali can't threaten opposing wins, right?
It can Resin Trap, and with Botanist, Resin Trap just deals a lot of damage.
Alright, let's actually
Neutral
check.
damage.
Give me a wind type Tem that's... I mean, Bird. Where's Bird?
And if you're running it against Volder, and it deals half damage, so maybe not that one.
Okay.
My Grandpa. Or I guess Tuvine. Tuvine also.
Yeah, Tuvine. So let's run Resin Trap into Tuvine.
500 HP.
Yeah, wait. You don't even two-shot it, dude. You don't even two-shot it, dude.
Yes, 47.81.
Just for reference, I want to check. 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 Okay, well, at least... That frustrates me. Okay. Loali, what are you doing? Loali, what are you doing?
Okay, we need to decide on a moveset. We've wasted enough time trying to think of what our Loali is doing and still haven't figured out what it's supposed to be doing.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. That's this show, Keeks. We need to figure out a niche. Like you're going like Marco, we just spent the last 30 minutes wondering what Loali can do. I mean, that's the show, dude. We can't make a team around something that doesn't have a niche. Unless you just want to run worse Wolfie, right? Like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's unfortunate if Loali is just worse Wolfie at this point.
Like, if it is literally outclassed by Wolfie in every way.
Yeah, the Earth typing on Wolfie gets rid of the 2 weaknesses that it has, and it gets melee response, which is honestly a pretty good trade. We've seen Loali run in some tournaments, and from what I've seen, it's mostly just aggressive Saku. But then aggressive Saku could just be Wolfie. What if you're running Loali because you're already running Wolfie?
You just want 2 Wolfies. See, now we're getting somewhere. So if this is still the Strange Vest set, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And we are running the same resin trap. Where are you? Resin trap, hypoxia. I really want to run tenderness.
Just to go up against the Cerniefs. Do we run Urushiol on the set or Toxic Spores?
I think probably... Okay.
Or do we go ham and put even more attacking moves like Allergic Spread?
When will there ever be 2 Earth types on the field that can get damaged by that thing? The answer is never, right?
Maybe it's an Ukama. Maybe it's what gets your Puppet Master mixed down. You never know.
I mean...
And I guess like the real reason here is that you only have Resin Trap as your nature move, so if you actually need another nature move to follow up, then you'll have nothing.
Okay, well, see, that's a decent answer then. So last slot, I kind of want... So here's the point. We either take Tenderness, Urushiol, or Toxic Spores. Toxic Spores is just consistent Urushiol. Urushiol is Urushiol, which means that we need to run some Toxic Thems. Yeah. And Tenderness is anti-Cernief, anti... Literally just anti-everything that doesn't have ETAP.
Yeah. I feel like Tenderness is my first inclination here, but...
I'm just realizing
I don't know
something.
if that inclination is correct.
If we run
Okay,
Urushiol instead of Allergic Spread, we could run Turbo Choreo and then put Bird in.
Yeah, that would give you a good niche as well. You can run Urushiol.
You're basically
and Turbo.
Volphy. Okay, how about this? You're Volphy.
No. Because if you're running Urushiol and Turbo Choreography, you're basically you're a nature type Ukama. Because this is also why you run Ukama and with Volaren.
No, but here's the thing. Ukama can't Resin Trap.
That's true, yeah. So it's like nature trap. It's like nature version of Ukama.
So you're like nature Ukama. So you're a weird hybrid between Ukama and Volphy.
And Volfree. Yeah.
Right?
That looks to be your niche right now.
Okay, so we need a team that takes advantage of trapping and takes advantage of turbo. Is essentially what it is, right? So, the play pattern for a trap would be to swap into something that you have a positive matchup against, right? 2 ways to do that. Number 1, half of your team is running a strat that you would want, that the swap would screw, right? So essentially, we need to run a Crystal Tem, for example, so that they bring out an Earth Tem, so that we can bring out Loali to tank for the Crystal Tem, and then trap the Earth Tem with Resin Trap, right?
And if they respond by switching out the set Earth Tem, you probably want to just switch back your good matchup into it on the same turn.
Right, because because you can just Resin Trap. Because they're trapped and they're stuck, right? So you get tempo.
Right, so we are definitely running Loali, Volphy, and Bird.
Yeah.
These are the 3 cores, I think. So we're running a team that...
I just typed Bird instead of Valorant.
Aerobic, because...
I mean,
what
yes.
if we run anaerobic?
And we just run tank team? We don't have damage. We need more damage, right?
Tank board can be decently damaging. Oh wait, no, you're running Turbo Urushiol. You can't even run like Tenderness or Bark Shield to actually make your tank board tankier.
Yeah. Because then you're just worse Saku, right?
Yeah. Saku does the same things, guys. well, Saku doesn't have Tenderness, but it does have Bark Shield.
Yeah, it has Bark Shield, Lifeful Sap, and whatever the other freaking stall moves it has. The important move here is Hyperkinetic.
Yeah, definitely Hyper, definitely
This one
Toxic
needs
Plume.
Plague. Toxic Plume? Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and I think you're picking crystals for matchup purposes anyway.
I mean, you're picking crystals so that you can bait them with Loali, right?
Yeah.
Wait, no, Loali doesn't have a good matchup into crystals.
No, you're picking crystals so they bring earths so that they can deal with...
there you go. Okay, so I mean,
Or they could just bring a fire and now Loali's stuck.
yeah, I mean that's why we have Wolfie, right?
That's true. Wolfie is also there for the dust vortex attacks.
So I'm sorry, but this boy has to be in if we're looking for a crystal.
If you're looking for anything that has good matchups into anything, it's Kaehalis.
Yeah, Gallus just literally solves that issue all by itself. We probably need another crystal. That is there
I
a
think
crystal
we want
that...
to run another. You're running Urushiol, so I think you want another Toxic, actually. What if we run Tortonite?
Tortellini?
It's another cage.
We already have two! Do we need more?
You have two trappers, and you basically need a crystal, right?
Yeah, but there's... Are there other
Actually,
crystals?
why don't you type out on the search bar crystal?
Sure. Crystal. Nah.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see what our options are. Two Vine is a good option. Turbo Choreography-able.
I mean, that's it, right?
Mix is a decent option as well. Can hit Puppet Master, but not like you're running a team of big stally tanks.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Lash is just an overall solid amp, but it suffers from the matchups that it has.
Tortellini is also kind of sketch in my opinion, because we don't have things that cover Tortellini's weaknesses.
Yeah, which are fires, earths, and
Melee.
winds. Melees.
Oh, that's a lot of weaknesses. Yeah, I don't think Tortellini is a good pick for this team, I mean.
So what crystal do you want to run in this team?
I mean, it's just two Vine, right? It's also Turbo Choreoguro. Oh. Right?
Yeah, it's a turbo choreo target as well.
Let's
look at our current coverage and matchups.
I mean, just look at resistances.
So
Yeah,
that
we
looks
definitely
like a lot
need...
of fire and...
We need something to deal with fires in the last... I mean, Wolfie is one.
Okay, put in Ukama and Calibus.
Okay.
These are my immediate answers to fire right
You just
now.
want to run Earth Thems? No, that just makes us even weaker into melee, huh?
Yeah. So look into Ukama and Calibus. And Ukama does have synergy into more Toxic Thems because it also has Water Cannon. It's basically Urushiol, but better.
I mean, I assume it's a hydrologist. What do they run?
Yeah, no run reason, Pleth. The item on Ukama is super flexible.
Okay, so let's hold that for the end.
Aerobic will run either Doppelganger or Sweatband or...
Let's wait on this guy also and see what the last remaining sums are.
Try Calibus. Calibus should be good here.
Yeah, Calibus also gives us the second Toxic that we need for Uru, so that's good.
Yeah. I was thinking Platimus could be good here as well, but I feel like Calibus is a better pivot.
Who are you saying?
Platimus.
Platimus is Aquatic Whirlwind and is decently fast.
Yeah, Platimus is basically faster Calibus. It's less tanky, and it doesn't have a Toxic Ink option at the start. But if you're using it as a pivot, it's a little less tanky, but it does have Determined, so it can't get P-jabbed to death. If you're looking for a more aggressive team, I guess we want Platimus instead.
Yeah, let's check out Platimus and what we can get from that.
Yeah, so this is always a big question in my team building. Do I want Platimus or do I want Calibus? Because they kind of fulfill a similar niche in their typing, but
this guy's Aquatic
goes for-
Whirlwind.
Yeah. One is way more specially... one is special attack and it's more aggressive. The other is more of a pivot.
Oh, this one can deal special defense. We have a tank. We already have a physical tank in Tuvine. But I guess having more couldn't hurt. We already have so many Tems that can deal with special attack. Like Wolfie and Loali and Volorand before it starts shooting its wind techniques. All just
So
tank special
basically
attack for
never.
days.
You mean Volorand is basically never unless it's anaerobic.
I mean, no, I'm saying that they can switch into a move and still have that massive special defense stat, take the hit, and then start speeding up. Because that's the only time that stat matters, is the first time. So that you don't get one shot and you can switch in.
That's true. All right, let's go for the Calibus then. I think it looks like we need more physical pivots.
Yeah, we do need a physical pivot. But the
Calibus
problem
is-
is that we are a trap team, so we need to generate tempo through our trap by doing more threats, right?
Calibus is we're running looks like a more aggressive Calibus set then.
Yeah.
So we're doing 500 something close to 500 HP, 500 attack.
Yeah, I'm
Since we're
probably into that.
since we're banking on getting good matchups, we don't have to invest on the special defense. So that's Toxic Ink, Water Jet, and Ice Stalactite. And then Strangle, I guess. Strangle is just the utility.
Why would we strangle, though?
Strangle is basically forcing a switch out or a rest on the enemy team. So if your Calibus is in a bad matchup, just Strangle during that turn, and you basically get one turn to breathe.
Tsunami? Nah, bad. That's bad.
Yeah, I think Strangle is the way to go.
You could
Unless you wanna try
humiliating
pull out-
slap.
Humiliating Slap makes no sense here because it's the slowest Tem on your team.
Yeah. What specific item? Yeah. So these are
We
all
have
flex.
one more
Yeah.
product. Okay, let's look at our resistances and coverage now.
We're still okay. We're now not terrible into fires.
We're still kind of terrible into melees.
Melees? Nah, you're fine. Calibus can tank that.
Yeah, but I think you might want something to pressure them out. Hinu.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
No, that makes you even weaker to fires.
Actually, why don't we bring in Grandpa?
Another turbo user. That makes sense.
But that'll just bring us to 4 wins. Is that good?
I mean, look, wind typing is superior in this meta until they bring out more electrics.
You just ban Grumper.
Because as it is, people only bring at most one electric into the table, which is either Grumper or Electric Voice. Sometimes you find an odd Nesla in there, but usually you never
How
run
about
into
Barnchi?
two. Barnchi's a pretty good option. Barnchi can turbo.
And Energy Manip also gets synergy. Because you have 2
Yeah, with
natures.
2 of your Tems.
I think Barnchi.
So are
might
we
be
going
good.
for it? Yeah, I think Wall Breaker Barnchi here is good.
Yeah.
Sure.
We need
Don't even
superior matchups. We need superior matchups, right? So Hypoxia, Tornado, Beta, of course,
an Energy Manip.
and Energy Manip. Energy Manip's probably really good here. Yeah. Let's check our team resistances. We're really good at screwing Earths, apparently.
That's what you get for running wind types.
We have some big gaps on electric, but like apparently electric. You just ban. Okay, let me just save this team. Why can't I save this team? It doesn't let me save the team.
There you go. That's a shared.
Yeah, but it doesn't let me save the team, dude.
Oh, that's weird. Huh. Well, that's odd.
Regardless, ban all the electrics. Okay. What's your top 4 bans? Literally every electric tem. All right, cool.
You ban Nagais?
Do we ban the guys? No.
Always a question you have to ask.
No, you don't, right? Because you just run 2 Vine or Gaealis into it. Or Calibus.
Even Calibus. I
and then,
feel like you have a decent amount of options against it. Unless they're running Gulder, then maybe you want to ban Nagais because Gulder will then proceed to do nothing against 4 winds.
Oh yeah, why would we ban the guys?
Oh, you ban Nagais if there's a Gulder.
If there's a Gulder, we have 4 wins.
Yeah, but the problem is Gulder will be bamboozling the Nagais, and by then it'll be too late for you to kill the Nagais.
Can the guys sweep our crystals?
Then Nagais can sweep anything. If it's Madness buffed, it's not even gonna hit you with Crystal. It'll hit you with a mix of Nagai's Fury and Beta Burst, so it's got options. I think banning Nagais is fine. Gulder, there's no reason for you to ban. You have so many wins.
Yeah, don't ban Gulder. Okay, cool. What would Calibus want?
I don't think Nagais is like a priority ban, but
Yeah, if there's an electric, ban that first.
Yeah. The Grumper, yeah, ban that Grumper, especially if it's a fast Grumper.
What does Calibus usually want?
Actually, you're running 4 wins, but only 2 of them are weak to Grumper. It's actually Ukama and Calibus that are weak to the electrics. Guvine's not weak to it, and neither is Loali.
I mean, completely fair. But you still need to just ban the electrics.
Yeah. Like if Grumper gets through, Loali actually has a good matchup into it, I think.
Okay, how about we do Big Brain, okay? You put Drill on Calibus. I'm kidding.
Given how slow Calibus is and how not fast enough for Nagais it is, maybe. Like the usual options for Calibus are Energy Drink and Coat. Those are the 2.
I guess it just gets Coat, right?
Yeah.
War Drum definitely goes into this boy. Do we need Shuin's Horn? No, we already have Ukama and Calibus. So,
Yeah.
What does this boy want?
Maybe Ice Cube.
Sure, because we're expecting to get hit by a bunch of that garbage. Bird probably just gets Doppel, right?
Yeah, Doppel is a very good item on it.
Doppel, or we could do Lightning Rod just in case the opponent is running 2 frickin' electric dams.
I don't think it's worth it.
Okay, then.
Because if you're a Feather Gatling, you're gonna die to it because your special attack is already low.
Okay, and obviously we run Decoy. No, I'm kidding.
Maybe Tukma Mask, maybe
Tukma Mask?
Snare.
I think Snare is
Mask or
better,
Snare.
right?
Yeah, Snare's a decent option on Ukama. Like I said, Ukama's slot very flexible in terms of items.
Yeah, I think Snare is really decent. And the point is that, remember, we're swapping these guys in to good matchups, right? So once we trap somebody, you could swap Ukama in, for example, and then it takes a hit and it disables an item, right? So that's not a terrible play. At least it gives you some tempo. I mean, this is just Gatlings. Gat. Where's Tornado? What do you do in your last slot?
Do you run Nox Bomb or do you run like Humiliating Slap?
Okay.
Basically, this is a flex move where you're probably only pressing one of the first 3.
Yeah. Aquatic Whirlwind. Do you use any other moves in Okama?
Aquatic Whirlwind, Water Cannon.
You want to do Turbo? Yeah.
And then Blizzard or Tsunami. Tsunami's fine, honestly.
Tsunami works. You have a bunch of winds that synergize with it, and you could.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, do we have a slight freeze core?
You can't because
we do. I mean, just Okama and Calibus are a freeze core essentially.
No, but your Tsunami is never going to freeze if Calibus is beside you. You have to have a wind beside you.
Ah, that's fair. That's unfortunate.
So you're basically using Tsunami as a spread move that deals a little bit more damage because of synergy.
Yeah, but so most of the time we're just gonna Water Cannon, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
You can run Blizzard on it, but there's honestly no point given how many wins you already have to deal with Toxics.
Right. I guess
Tsunami, I think, is the best option here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess no, but that's the point. Maybe we do need Blizzard on it.
Why?
Because Tsunami's just a spread move. We're not that kind of team. We're not spreading. We're KOing the specific one thing that we're trapping.
Oh, but like, why do you need Blizzard if you already have 4 different wind
So
types?
that you don't need to switch to a wind when you swap Okama in. So it's tempo essentially.
Like, I don't like the Blizzard on it. It feels too repetitive in a team that already has so many wind types.
I mean, I get
think
it. I get it, but
it's
also
added coverage for.
Also, it's just added coverage for Ukama. He already has 2 freaking water moves. We're just giving him a third one. Why
Yeah,
can't
but
we just?
this is the one. This is the one that hits mix, and this is the one that hits both slots, just in case you predict the swap wrong.
I mean, I guess. Oh, also, this moveset is known, so like.
Okay, like I've seen a lot of ninja jutsus lately.
Oh really? I
Like,
assume
I've seen
replacing
a lot
sharp
of
stabs.
Yeah, they replace sharp stabs with ninja. It's an interesting tech. It's not one I'd run because I like sharp stabs giving you, stab.
Yeah. I mean, okay, technically, sharp stabs.
they
Stabbed deals 50% extra damage. 50% of 76 is only 48. So this becomes a 124 base attack
It's
move.
38.
138. And Ninja Jutsu is 130. So it just deals 8 less damage. And it goes way faster, right? The difference is the hold, actually. That's really the problem. It's a 2-hold move opposed to a 1-hold move.
It's a 2-hold move that's 27 stamina as well.
Yeah, and you're Gaealis. You don't have a lot of stamina to spare.
Yes, you do. That's a lie.
What do you mean? You have 44 stamina.
You run 61.
Yeah, I know,
Oh,
I
no.
know.
Like, Gaealis has like 4 attacks in its tank before it runs out.
Yeah, but this is because one of those attacks is double gash.
Yeah.
Quicksand? Nah, you don't need that. You're on a turbo team.
Yeah.
Bush.
There's no reason to reverse turbo in a turbo team. It's overkill.
Yeah. This is just Feathergat and Blizzard.
Yeah, some people have been opting to tech in their Nox bombs even if they don't deal that much damage.
Why?
It's an interesting tech. Just for coverage, pretty much.
Oh, okay, so that's okay, but running Blizzard on Akama isn't? Alright, whatever.
I mean, how many other poisons are you running in this team? Calibus, 1. You're running 4 winds.
Alright. I think that's the team. So how does the team
Yeah,
work?
this looks pretty tough.
So basically, Loali and Volfi fulfill the same role, so to speak, right? Loali is based... So, Loali is half Volfi, but also half Ukama. Right?
Yeah.
Your job...
Fulfills the in-between niche between the two.
Right. So basically, with this, you're always gonna have one... Like, basically, you're on a team that kinda wants Volfi and Okama to be on it, but one of them is gonna get banned. Which lets you bring Loali to sub for that one thing. Essentially.
That's true. I think that's its niche.
Right. So it's basically, it's worse Volfi and worse Ukama at the same time, which is good if your team wants to have Volfi and Ukama on it.
That's a pretty interesting niche that it has.
Right. And no, the niche, that the reason why it's worse Ukama is not necessarily because it has water cannon and all that other stuff. No, the point is that it has turbo. That's it, it has turbo.
It has turbo, and turbo is a great move to have in a team that has 4 wins.
Yeah.
Wait, 4? Is it 3? I think we're just running 3.
No, because the Wali's 4.
Oh, Loali is a win. You're right.
Right. So that's how it plays. So how do you play the Loali itself, right? It's decently tanky. So here's the play pattern. You do not start with Loali. You usually have some other Tems here. The opponent brings something out to counter that. So maybe, for example, you're using your waters and they bring out a toxic, right? Or you're using your crystals and they bring in a earth Tem. Sorry, this one. They bring out an earth Tem. What else?
All these good matchups are basically waters and earths.
Yeah.
You could deal with other wins possibly.
Right.
Can you take out other wins with your team? Guess you could run 2 Vine.
I mean, don't we just do double crystal attacks into them?
Yeah. So you could run 2 Vine or Gaealis when you're trapping a wind type.
So yeah, so the
If
point
you're
is that
trapping
you...
a fire type.
Yeah, when you trap a fire
Yeah.
type, you put in Okama and Calibus, right? When you
Trapping,
when you trap an earth type, you stay, and then you just Uru it, I guess.
Yeah, you stay and you basically score the kill with either Hypoxia or Urushiol.
Right.
And then if you're up against melees/neutrals, you do have a Barnshi. Hopefully it doesn't get banned.
I mean, even then, right? You either you don't swap. You just stay then, right? Because nothing on your team makes you better against those. So just stay.
Yeah.
Stay and attempt to trap the other Tem instead, right?
Yeah, so basically with the Wolfie and the Loali, your game plan is so that you get swap advantage. You have more options of getting better matchups.
Right. So every one of these other Tems in the team is basically semi-decent to swap into. Gyalis is Gyalis, Tuvine is Tuvine, Volrend is Volrend. Ukama, not ideal, but you snare something. Calibus is Calibus. Barnch, not ideal, but Barnch is probably one of your harder hitting Tems on this team.
Yeah, actually all of them hit quite hard, except maybe Calibus.
Yeah. So there you go. So it's basically an aggressive team, but without using Ket's users.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive trap team. Honestly, with all this trapping, maybe we should have run a Yowler.
So that we can learn Torment.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, technically you get rid of Barnch if you want.
I think the Barnshi coverage is pretty good.
How do we
The
deal with
fact that it's
crystals? I guess we have this guy and this guy, so we're fine. We can't beat opposing wins. I mean, I guess the answer is just fight them, right?
Yeah, you just... I mean, Tuvine has a good matchup into opposing wins. Loali with Resin Trap and Urushiol can deal a decent amount of damage to them as well.
Yeah, just do crystal
And,
plumes into them.
Like Ukama just dents everything that doesn't resist it, basically.
Yeah. So wins, opposing wins are probably gonna be like not ideal, but okay. Which is fine,
Yeah.
honestly. And that's the team.
Looks pretty solid.
Looks pretty solid. So top 10s, Tems to ban all the electric types and Nagais. That seems to be a recurring theme here. Because last time...
Let's look at our resistances again. Is there anything here that we want to be actually scared of? Maybe we want to ban one Kets user.
I mean, that's only if there's no electrics, right? That's the point, right? If there's an electric on the team, ban it. Period. If there's a Naga on the team, basically ban it if it has a Gulder. If it doesn't have a Gulder, you don't have to ban it because you carry that, right?
Yeah. So if there's melees on the team and your Barnshi is banned, ban those.
Yes.
Like you have no way of like quickly dispatching of melees/neutrals without Barnshi, so you might want to consider banning melees/neutrals if
Right.
Barnshi is
The
banned.
only neutral you have to worry about is Yowler. Really.
In Scunch is a hard hitter.
I mean, yeah. Scunch is a different level, dude.
But yeah, it looks pretty good right now.
All right. Oh, the top 3 Tems you should pick is definitely Wolfie and Ukama, and then Loali. Right? Sorry, if you get Wolfie and Ukama on, don't take Loali in. But that's never gonna happen, I guess, if the opponent knows how your team works, right?
Do you want to bring... How do you open, though? Do you want to open with Wolfie? Likely Wolfie/Ukama, Ukama/Volrend.
So yeah, Wolfie, Ukama. I would also do Ukama Volrend. That's pretty good because you can just water cannon and feather gatling into a slot and then threaten to kill it with aquatic whirlwind /hyperkinetic on the next turn, right? Like it's
That's a really solid opening there.
right. So remember, you cannot open with Loali. That's important to note. You do not open with Loali. Loali swaps into something. So you could also...
I guess you can open with Loali if you're up against the Toxic. You can actually pressure it out.
I mean, I guess, but you could just play Volrend and Tuvine in that case. Or even Barnch.
That's true.
So like...
Yeah.
Remember, the point that we're using Loali is... Loali swaps into something so that it can resin trap it, right?
Yeah, it's a pivot that resin traps.
Right. Which most Volfies can't do because Volfies don't run that
500
tank.
HP usually.
Yeah. And their defense is so much lower than yours. Because we're running Strange Best in this
higher.
one. No, we're running Strange Best,
because
so your defense is 90.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not like Volfie won't run handcuffs, right? Because it can't trap without handcuffs.
Yeah. Handcuffs is basically attached to Wolfie the same way Sweatband is attached to Cernif.
Right. So I think that's the team. Again, hopefully you all enjoyed it. And I hope you all liked it. Keeks, how do you feel about this team? How'd you feel about the process in this Loali? I'm kind of noticing that the niche that a lot of Thems have is that they're half and halves, where they're
two things which are primarily good at something.
Right. So I think that's one thing that we need to know about niches is that why would I run X if it's just a worse Y? Well, that's because X is also just a worse Z, and you need both X, Y, and Z on your team to work. So you kind of need... So X can fulfill, like, a substitute role, right? Not ideal, but if they ban one of X... If they ban one of the Thems you needed, then... I mean, you bring it, right?
And given that you're also running Loali as 500 HP, 500 special attack, feel free to try to smork with it as well. It could work.
I mean, if the enemy team is just like 3 Earths, yeah, you're having a field day, right? Like, just have fun, I guess.
Like, if there is like some miracle where you're not seeing a single Quetzaleno on the enemy team, then lucky you. What a great day it is to be Loali.
Right. So there you go. I'm giving this team a 6 out of 10, mostly because I was really frustrated. And I was really frustrated that it was just like, this was just worse Wolfie. You know? That got me real pissed. How about you, Keeks?
Yeah, I do think that team overall looks pretty solid. I wouldn't rate it like a 6, maybe.
No, I'm
like
not saying that the team's viability is a 6 over 10. I'm saying that the process that we had to undergo to make this team is a 6 out of 10.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a struggle to find what Loali is actually good at, because at the start it seemed like it was being outperformed in its different niches, but I guess now that it has different niches, we found the actual middle ground.
Right. Which is that it needs to be a worse version of one of 2 other Thems. Because you just want the 2 other Thems.
Yep, but you know, given that it's a pivot trapper, that is an actual role that isn't just a watered down version of something else.
Right.
I mean, like, it just happens to be also the role of Wolfie.
Right. So that's cool. You have 2 pivot trappers, and again, that also means that you're guaranteed to have one of your pivot trappers. Period. Even if and that's why you run Loali. So I think that's gonna be all for this episode of 1Tricks. Join us again next week at Friday, 1 p.m. GMT, so that you can join us on the Wiplump Lovers server, and we can talk about the Thems you want to see and the strats you want to see, and have us make viable. As usual, has been me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as TheMechanicritic, and with me has been the ever-amazing, ever-wonderful Loali 1Trick himself.
Just for today, it's BanditKeeks, the Loali 1Trick.
Everybody, don't forget to check your damage thresholds, and good night, folks. Good night.
Bye, everyone.